Hi, welcome to the Crafts channel. I'm Stuart Hillard. Today I'm going to show you a technique which I find completely mind-blowing. I hope you enjoy it too and have your mind blown very slightly here. A stocking stitch, wait there, it's much more interesting than that sounds. We all know that stocking stitch has a right side and a wrong side, yeah? The right side looks like this, lovely little V shapes, and then the wrong side are those lines of purl stitches. Well, let me just show you the flip side of this stocking stitch. It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same on both sides. It's a completely reversible stocking stitch. There's no right side or wrong side. It's the right side on both. Such an easy technique. You won't believe how easy it is when you learn how. I think it's something that's very useful for things like simple scarves, so that there isn't a right side and a wrong side. That would work really well. It would also work really well for something where you want a reversible surface. So for example, placemats or a table runner, or even a throw that you could use by both sides of would be fantastic. The other thing that you've probably noticed about this stocking stitch is normally stocking stitch would curl and roll under at the sides and the front. This technique, there is no rolling whatsoever. It creates a really firm surface. One more thing to bear in mind with this is that what you're knitting is actually double-sided and double thickness. So if you have a look at the thickness there, and I'll just pull it so you can see, there's actually a gap right the way through the middle. So it creates a really thick surface too. Again, perfect where you want extra warmth like a scarf or a muffler, or you want something nice and chunky on the table, those placemats and runners. Let me show you how easy it is to work. So I've cast on my stitches and I've got an even number of stitches here. Now, although I'm using double pointed needles, this is simply because they were the right size and they're a length I like working with. You could use a circular needle for this. You could also use regular straight pins. You do not need double pointed needles. So I've got my stitches on my needle, even number, and it's very simply worked. You're going to start with a knit stitch. So there's my first stitch knit. Now you're going to bring your yarn forward as if to purl, but you're not going to purl. You're going to slip the next stitch and then bring your yarn back around and knit the next stitch. So you're going to knit, yarn forward as if to purl, slip the next stitch and then yarn back ready to knit. Now to begin with, that's going to feel a little disjointed, but very quickly you will start getting a nice smooth movement. Knit, yarn forward, slip that stitch as if to purl, yarn back. Don't forget to bring your your yarn forward when you slip the stitch. That's super important. So work all the way across. And effectively what we're doing here is we're only knitting half the stitches, and they're the half that are showing on the right side that's facing me. The purl stitches that we're just slipping are creating the knit side on the reverse, which is why we end up with this completely reversible fabric. Now the last stitch, let me just show you, because it's an even number, is going to be a purl. So yarn forward and slip that last stitch. Now this does mean that the working yarn is one stitch back from where we want it to be, but it's not a problem. Turn your work. And then all you're going to do is that working yarn will just wrap around the back and ready for the reverse side. So we do exactly the same on the reverse side. We're starting with a knit. So we knit, yarn forward, slip, as if to purl, yarn back, knit, yarn forward, slip and yarn back. That's it. So this is a 1 row repeat. And once you've got the technique of yarn forward, yarn back on every slipped purl stitch, you will be away and it will become nice and quick. Now this technique does grow more slowly than you'll be used to, because remember, you're creating a double thickness fabric, but it is so cool and creates such great effect. And particularly if you use a nice chunky yarn as I am, you'll be there before you know it. Last few stitches, knit, and then that last stitch, remember, yarn forward, slip as if to purl, and then yarn around to the back. And that is how you knit completely reversible stocking stitch. It's as easy as that. Thanks for joining me on the Crafts channel. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button, and also tap the bell so that you get notifications every time we pop a new video on. Until next time, I'll see you then.